Somehow we had another big show this weekend. We have two, actually. We have AEW as well. But Saturday night's main event is going down on Saturday, obviously. So now it's time to put our nerd brains together and try and predict the flipping thing. Now, I'm very excited because I said we should do R-Truth versus John Cena. We are doing R-Truth versus John Cena. People seem to be divided now, but whether it is a title shot or whether it isn't a title shot, I'm pretty sure it's not a title shot because, A, that wouldn't make any sense. What on earth has R-Truth done to go after the WWF Championship? The WWF Championship? Welcome to 1994. But also, it's way more fun with that title not on the line because, of course, you can get in your own head and be like, oh my gosh, maybe R-Truth is going to win. And I think there are two very succinct things we can do here. One, John Cena is going to murder this man. He's going to absolutely ruin him in order to get maximum heat. And I actually think of all the people on the roster, because John Cena still gets a mixed reaction. That is going to be his thing until the end of time. But we all love Truth. Not many people actually dislike Truth, even if you aren't into goofy wrestling for life. So, again, of all the people on the roster, he may actually get maximum heat for John Cena. So that's what you want to do. Probably moving into the Cody Rhodes Part 2 feud. That's not the worst idea. Or you could use the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, to get the 1, 2, 3. Now, if you watched my predictions videos before, we don't do boring ones. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. I would much rather be correct because I do something so bold and then WWE pulls it out of a hat and I can be like, oh my gosh, I'm like some kind of Nostradamus. So, this is what I am going to do. John Cena is going to win this match, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to pull it out of left field. There's loads of predictions videos on the internet if you want to go watch more logical ones. I think that Cody Rhodes is returning as Saturday night's main event. That's right. I think he's going to get involved in this match. I think he's going to distract John Cena, and then I totally believe that probably using the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, R-Truth is going to roll up John Cena and get the 1, 2, 3. And then Cody Rhodes can laugh because Cody Rhodes needs to get some kind of revenge. And you could be like, well, that's a very heel tactic. Well, that's true, but we've kind of merged the lines a little bit here because Cody didn't hit John Cena with the belt at WrestleMania and people thought he was a wuss. So now, in order to prove that he's not a wuss, he probably needs to have a little bit of edge to him, not Adam Copeland. He went to AEW. So that's what I'm going to say is going to happen. I can't stop but laughing because it's crazy booking and it would send the internet nuts. Like, imagine that's how John Cena lost. And then sure, you can say that's when you do the rematch between John Cena and R-Truth, which you could do on Raw, SmackDown, and then he gets absolutely ruined and he does get sentenced to death. Now, actually, I probably think John Cena's just going to beat this man and we do move on. It's way more fun if Cody Rhodes gets involved. And also, we only have 2 pay-per-views before SummerSlam and all the rumors are telling me that it's going to be a 6-man tag at Money in the Bank with John Cena and Travis Scott and somebody else. Probably a basic tag now I've said that. With what, Cody Rhodes and Bad Bunny? I have no idea who Cody Rhodes would team with. Do I want to see a tag team between John Cena and Travis Scott? A small part of me does, because intrigue gets inside. But no, not particularly. But if we do that at Money in the Bank, it means that John Cena doesn't defend his WWE title again. And then, yes, we get to SummerSlam. It's a 2-night show. You probably want at least one huge match, which would be John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. And I'm convinced that Cody Rhodes will win the championship back there because nobody is going to boo John Cena on his last night now that it's going to be in Boston, where he's from. So if WWE has it penciled in that Cody Rhodes is going to win the championship there, you're probably going to accidentally turn him heel, and nothing is hinting at that. So I picked R-Truth. The comments are down there, by the way. If you want to go, Simon, I can't stand you. I totally understand. It was hello, mum and dad. And while you are there, just hit subscribe. Because look, it is wrestling opinions, and we all know everyone likes to be angry. We're also getting Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a flipping steel cage. I'm very excited about this. I think it's going to be super duper whooper good because these two guys don't miss, and I'm surprised the feud has gone on this long. It kind of felt like we were going to draw a line under it after WrestleMania, but here we are, and it actually does have Super Jeopardy attached to it because Damian Priest should win. But if Damian Priest does win, it means the feud has to continue. I'm not 100% sure where else you can go after hardcore match at WrestleMania and then cage match at Saturday night's main event. For me, I think this could be the most exciting bout on the card because when do you get a cage match on television? I mean, you do, but it's kind of rare. That makes it feel more exciting. And again, there's rumors out there, we take it with a pinch of salt, that apparently Damian Priest is pretty banged up after that hardcore match, but he's gutting through it. This is why Damian Priest is the best person ever and why I love him and why I love Drew too. Now, Could we be hinting at a double turn soon as well? Drew McIntyre has started to get babyface reactions because he's just so good, but people do get behind Damian Priest too. So I guess it depends on what are the plans for the future. This is why you always need to know where people are going. Because if Drew McIntyre has been penciled in for a Cody Rhodes feud, making it up off the top of my head, then yeah, stick to the course, make sure he wins here, try and get a bit of heat on him to do something dastardly, and then he can fit into that role. But if he's not, and he's kind of going to be, I don't know, treading water for a bit, maybe you should turn him face. Then you look at Damian Priest. I have no idea what Damian Priest is going to do after this. I can kind of see after the Bloodline stuff is wrapped up, something between LA Knight and Damian Priest, because we hinted it there. I don't think you could turn LA Knight heel. I think it would be a struggle to turn Damian Priest heel, but I think there's more chance that would succeed. So there's things we can do. I think Drew McIntyre is going to win. I think this whole feud was designed to get Drew McIntyre some victories before he does go after the WWE Championship. And again, what did we just talk about? If John Cena loses the title at SummerSlam, he's definitely done with Cody. Cody's going to need someone. It doesn't feel like the Randy Orton feud is coming anytime soon. I've now convinced myself that could be WrestleMania 42. So Drew McIntyre can step in there, and maybe Drew McIntyre could even win. I know, totally nuts. But Cody doesn't need to go on another one-year title reign. If you book it right and you come up with a good story, and because the fans would want it, I think Drew McIntyre could be the champion. Once again, you are running the risk of Cody getting a little bit of booze, but who cares? He's a professional wrestler, and a great one at that. He can handle some people going, I don't like you, and maybe we can even tie it into the narrative. So, really good match on paper. I do think it's going to have to be absolutely brutal, by the way. So I would go into this one a little bit trepidatiously, because some people have said the hardcore match at Mania wasn't as hardcore as they were expecting. I would say go into a hardcore match yourself, and you'll realize how awful it can be. But I understand escalation too, and I understand that the curve has to go up. So what are they going to do here? Neither of these guys are going to come off the top of the cage. Thank goodness. I don't need that anymore. It gets more scary and more scary, especially after the Spanish Fly that Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher did. I think we need to start going back the other way and becoming an old man, as you can tell. But there's still going to be weapons, because WWE loves including weapons in these things. They're still going to abuse the steel as much as possible. So yeah, I don't think this is going to be the weaker heart. I do think it's going to make you feel a bit awkward in your tum-tum. And I do think in many ways it's going to be a bit grotesque. Is that the right word? I don't know. But I think they're going to have to start the whole card with this, because what the hell do you follow it with? We know the main event is Jey Uso versus Logan Paul, which is a little bit gimmicky for obvious reasons, but they'll have a decent match. We'll talk about it in just 1 second. But I don't think you can plonk this in the middle. I mean, at the moment we only have 4 matches, so maybe there's a 5th one that is going to be added on there too. Although I think Saturday's main event is only 4 matches. Do you remember the first one? It was like go, 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 go. And it's actually quite fun. It kept your adrenaline up. I think this one's going to feel more like a pay-per-view, given what we do have. Although the John Cena R-Truth stuff could go 5 minutes, for all we know. But I am going to pick Drew McIntyre. Like I say, I do think this whole thing was designed because he had lost. And this was in order to turn the corner and get him some momentum back. But please, for the love of everything, I said this in the last predictions video, have something in mind for Damian Priest. He cannot be a guy that just floats around. He's too damn good. And if he has battled through a bunch of injuries, it goes to show that he has the moxie and he knows what he's doing. But I will go with Drew, mostly because I can't come up with anything dumb. It's not like anybody's going to get involved here. There's going to be no shenanigans, I don't think, unless someone's been signed and they're going to align themselves with Drew McIntyre, because, of course, you wouldn't imagine somebody ran in to help Damian Priest and Damian Priest still lost. He'd be like, well, that was the worst plan ever. We couldn't even get it over on night 1. So I'm going to go with Drew. I think that makes the most sense. But I wouldn't mind if Damian Priest won. I really wouldn't. That's how much I like him and how much I hold him on a pedestal. And I do think if you get it right, it could continue to tie into Drew McIntyre, think that he's being screwed, and then maybe that keeps him on the heel side of things. But I actually think it would go bad. I think McIntyre is going to get accidental sympathy that the office management won't be seeing, and you'll make him a babyface anyway. So just have him win. It shouldn't be a destruction. It should be a good back and forth match. And then Drew McIntyre walks away, and yeah, maybe in a couple of months goes after that WWE title. We also have this super duper whooper mega tag team match, which again, if it is only 2 hours, this thing's going to go 20 minutes. You'd have to imagine. But it's Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker with Paul Heyman in their corner, taking on CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Now, this is over with the fans. When Sami Zayn came out to help Jey Uso on Raw, people went crazy. They went super duper crazy for CM Punk. Now, there's a debate online. I wonder if this was as big as pop as Stone Cold Steve Austin The Rock. Who cares? It was a great pop. Why do we have to get dragged down into this? I like a good debate like that as much as the next one, but it always gets angry. What's the thing I always say, now I've forgotten? Comparison is the thief of joy. Just be joyful of the fact that CM Punk did absolutely get a mega reaction. There's no 2 ways about that. The whole crowd, I think it was South Carolina, on fire for a 3-hour, 2.5-hour Raw. Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker has to win. But the thing is, they are not going to win clean. There is going to be shenanigans here. There is going to be interference. I just don't know who it's going to be. And it all depends whether Jey Uso is going to be inserted back into this when he is done with Logan Paul. But then he has Gunther and a bunch of people. But we know that Seth Rollins is waiting down the line. But that means you have to have some six-man tag team matches. Paul Heyman ain't going to be the third dude. So we did a video about this last week. Who would the third guy be? Some people have said Karrion Kross. But again, he wants to be cheered at the moment, but maybe you have to even worry about that. Maybe you could call someone up from NXT like Ethan Page, but it doesn't feel like we're doing anything like that. Or Ricky Starks, that's not his name anymore. Ricky Saints, because he is friendly with CM Punk, so maybe he could sort of, call in a favor. I don't know. But none of that feels like it's on the horizon. Anyway, I just feel like maybe somebody could be interjecting here as the third man in Seth Rollins' group in order to save CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is taking the pin here. It doesn't make me happy to say that, but CM Punk so rarely gets pinned and rarely gets losses that now you need to save that for a big event. It should be a one-on-one thing. I don't think you should throw it away, even if somebody does interfere, which protects them, whereas Sami Zayn is bulletproof, mostly because in 2019, he lost like 46 matches in a row, so it's a bit like, well, there's not much we can do now. But they cannot win. You cannot make this brand new awesome top heel group, even though they still get cheered, after WrestleMania with a Bron Breakker, and that's that. I think Bron Breakker should probably get the pin, or at least do the move, and then Seth Rollins makes the cover, but Bron Breakker is not pulling the strings. Seth Rollins is pulling the strings, but Bron Breakker is the muscle. And I would have said Jeff Cobb would have been perfect for this, but of course he's on SmackDown, he's joined the Bloodline, which we all do. You get born, you pay your taxes, and eventually you join the Bloodline in a black top, usually with your hood up. So it is difficult because I can't even think of somebody that it would be, but I do think there is going to be outside interference here from a Karrion Kross or somebody like that. But on the main roster, everybody is taken up at the moment. I mean, you could argue it would be a Damian Priest if you wanted to turn him heel, but he's on SmackDown and it would just be awful. It would be like, man, we're just trying to stick this sort of triangle in the round hole. But Bron and Seth win. I'm pretty sure about that. I'm like 99.9% because otherwise they're going to look like a bunch of losers. And CM Punk and Sami Zayn are going to be fine regardless because they're CM Punk and Sami Zayn. But something is brewing here, especially because WWE, who did the video on Monday about this, is obsessed with distractions. They're obsessed with shenanigans. It's going to be in here. I think the match itself is going to be great. You have the history between Seth Rollins and CM Punk, the history between Paul Heyman and everything he's done with both Sami Zayn and CM Punk. And Bron Breakker has wrecked both of them now. Sami Zayn when they were fighting for the Intercontinental title. And in most of these brawls, Bron, especially that one after WrestleMania, has gone after Punk too. I think CM Punk understands that Bron Breakker is the project, so we'll set his ass off for him. I think this is going to be really fun. I think this is going to have a certain intensity. I mean, the cage match will have it as well, but this will have it in a different way. But I think this is going to feel like a pay-per-view match, or at least that's how they're going to work it. Do we have adverts on Saturday Night's Main Event? We must do because it's TV, so that's interesting. But yes, something, I know what a crappy prediction, but I just can't think of something. Someone is going to stick their oar in here, and they're going to get a 1, 2, 3. I suppose it could be Becky Lynch, because of course you could then play off the Seth Rollins thing. She doesn't have to be involved in that six-man tag. I don't like it, right? The more I think about it, the more I think it feels a little bit convoluted. We should take somebody that needs an upside, doesn't have an upside, and stick them in the brand new heel group. Batista, Randy Orton, Triple H, and Paul Heyman acting as the Ric Flair. We've done it before, we can do it again, but they will win here, and CM Punk and Sami Zayn will lose. Sami Zayn will take the pin. I still like the idea of Bron Breakker pinning Sami Zayn, because Seth Rollins is a made man. I mean, Bron Breakker is basically made, but I just think it's a nice touch. So we'll go with that as our sort of weird, wild, and interesting prediction. But they ain't winning, the babyfaces. The heels have to go over. Again, I'm going to tie it back to AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. When Shinsuke decided to just punch AJ in the testicles over and over again, he never won. And it never benefited him, so he looked like an absolute goober. Jey Uso versus Logan Paul. You could argue that Gunther may get involved in this, but I hope he does not. I think they should just have a fun 10 to 12 minute match. Logan Paul should cheat and use his loaded arm, whatever it's called, to smash Jey Uso in the face over and over, and then he screws up, he overposes, he runs down his meter, he tries to do a move that he shouldn't do, and Jey Uso hits the spear, he hits the Uso splash, and he gets the 1, 2, 3. I do not think you only need to overthink this. I think there's a reason we put it on Saturday Night's Main Event and not pay-per-view or PLE, where you can get away with that more, and Logan Paul should never win. And then we should allow Jey Uso to come out of that and rebuild his match with Gunther that's happening the Raw after Money in the Bank. Begs the question what Jey Uso is doing in Money in the Bank, but maybe that's it. Maybe they felt like if we held this off to then, although we don't know what other matches are going to be on that show, it has to be a different thing. Whereas on TV, you can make it more like a Raw match, which is over the top and dumb. Somebody could run in here, I suppose, but I don't think we need it. I guess someone in Seth Rollins' group, but that's just overkill as far as I'm concerned. I think it should be the most basic thing ever, which I know sounds boring. It should be so basic that people go on the internet and go, oh, I expected more than that. It's a little bit anticlimactic. That's what I want from this match. I just want Jey Uso to beat Logan Paul in the most easy-to-watch, fun 3 out of 5 match you've ever seen in your life. And I understand, what a dull, boring thing to say. Where is this even coming from? But then Logan Paul can go on to do something else. I'm sure he'll go away for a while. And then we have all the pieces in place for Gunther versus Jey Uso in about 3-4 weeks, whatever the hell it is. Don't forget, Money in the Bank is like, 2 weeks after this? So there are so many big events, so you don't need to overcook the pudding all of the time, especially when you're putting a World Championship match on television. And it is good for Saturday Night's main event. Like, the whole card here feels way more important than other ones we've done. And when you do main event with the title match, it tells you the title match is important. Jey Uso is a good champion. And Logan Paul in this mix is a decent challenger. It doesn't bother me. He can take the whole match for all I care, as long as, again, super kick, dive, spear, Uso splash, 1, 2, 3. I don't think a Jimmy Uso would get involved. Or the Jimmy Uso could get involved in the R-Truth stuff, because he's the guy who keeps popping in and going, R-Truth, you're crazy. Jey Uso wins. That's all I got. Now, of course, none of my predictions matter. There may be a 5th match, so drop that in the comments below. But also tell me who you think is going to win and what's going to go down. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. The button is free. Hit the notification bell, I'd appreciate that as well. And check me out over on What Culture Wrestling. That would be really, really cool. And click the video. Keep doing my thumb thing. That is me talking about what happened on Raw and all the stupid distractions. Otherwise, if you are into gyms and going to supplement land, whatever that means, go to grillmind.com and use code SIMON to get 10% off and more money, because they just do deals all the time. It ships worldwide. I use these. I think they're great. Otherwise, Simon at 316 to come tell me how crappy I am at doing my job. Simon Miller on Cameo, so I'll do your personalized video. I love it, and they're super cheap now. Simon J. Miller on TikTok for wrestling shenanigans and pro wrestling tees, and Big Cartel for my merchandise. That is it, my friends. Enjoy this weekend, especially into MMA as well. There are so many events. Is it overkill? Yes, but we may as well enjoy it. At least we have all these choices. We have all these options. So even if one event is crap, there'll be another one sneaking up you in a couple of days. We can share and enjoy it together. This bald idiot will see you soon.